Hi everyone, thanks for joining. So, as you've just seen, we've just announced this now, but we're planning to have CZ on the Twitter space for about 30 minutes or so. As normal, we'll be trying to fit in as many questions as we can during that time. So if you would like to ask a question, raise your hand and I will bring you on stage. For those of you that do get the chance to be brought on stage, please do just get straight to the questions. Be ready to ask it. We don't want any unnecessary details or any project shilling or anything else like that. And as CZ always says as well, he's not the best person to shill projects to anyway. He's not someone that can actually action any of that. So yeah, please save that for another time. And then, like I said, I will be checking through the hand requests as much as I can. So just get your hand up and I'll be looking forward to bringing you on stage. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining. CZ's here now. So hi, CZ.
Hello. Hey guys.
How are you doing today?
I'm all right. Pretty chilling.
Great. Well, we've got one person on stage already, so we can get started. Tudor, do you want to go ahead?
Oh, good morning, Binance. Good morning, CZ. It's actually nice to speak with you once again on the AMA session. So I think what I have is more like not a question, it's more like a feedback for the pay-to-pay market. I just want to talk about the timing in which the seller waits for the buyer. I think it's a little bit too much because sometimes you might want to sell off things more like in an emergency. So I was wondering if there's something the team could do to either reduce the time or probably bring back the phone number option in which the seller could call the buyer to notify the buyer that he is waiting for the money to be paid into the bank account or something else.
Sure, got it. How long is the time now?
I think the highest I've seen is about 45 minutes.
Got it. Okay. Well, we'll relate that to the team. I actually don't know the details of that product that well, so I'll relate to the team and then see what they can do.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tudor.
Thanks, Tudor. Seeing as you're here, I'll put you on the spot. Did you have a question you want to ask as well? If not, we'll move on to someone else. Okay, no problem.
Don't think he has a question.
Let's go to the Crypto Palace then.
Yeah, thank you for bringing me up. I just have this question. Actually, quite a lot is actually going on within the space with new projects coming up because of the present era. It's like people already have in mind that the bear market is getting to an end, and you can see most of the altcoins pumping unexpectedly, and quite a lot of project is also coming up, and most of these projects are actually. I would say, 50% of most of these projects are actually rogging the people, okay? And some of them will still come up and trying to come up with their ideas of listing on Binance. I just want to ask CZ, what are the plans you have? Some of these projects coming up and get listed, they are coming up on BSC at the moment. What are the plans you have listing some of these projects? And at the end of the day, it will affect the general populace who are actually open to get better ends of the present situation in the market.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for that question. Our listing standards doesn't change because it's a bear or bull market, or if it's altcoin layer 1, layer 2, or if it's on BNB chain, other chains. We do give slightly faster review on the BNB chain, but even projects on the BNB chain, they need to have good products, have users, so they need to be a strong project. I think we don't view those external factors significantly, whereas we do view the listing standard. Like there's a blog post about it. It was written really 5 years ago. It's still pretty much the same. Not much have changed over the years. The number one thing we look for is number of users. So if the number of users for a project, for a coin is high, then we view that there's utility value. So basically, if a large number of users use a product, then it's a high chance there's value. And also, if they have a large number of users, there's usually very good liquidity. If they don't have a large number of users, then we need to look at other things very carefully, like the product, the team, etc. So for early stage projects, we need to do a lot of detailed review or due diligence, etc. Whereas if a project is already having a large number of users, then it's a simple decision. So yeah, that's pretty much it. We don't really consider all the other factors, but having in a BNB ecosystem on the BNB chain, etc., does expose us more to our team, and they usually get priority reviews. So like we will review those first, but it doesn't give them special privilege to get listed on Binance, etc.
Great. Thanks again, Crypto Palace, for the question. So then we'll move to Bruce.
Hey, CZ, how's it going? I'd love to just hear a little bit about what your thoughts are on the UAE and the GCC, and what makes you excited about it. You know, why you decided to move there, and if there's any other areas in the world that you are particularly excited about right now. Thank you,
Sure.
and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, sure. Hey, Bruce. Yeah, I mean, look, you were in like UAE like a few weeks ago, and then we were, we met, and then so UAE has very friendly, very smart regulatory environment, not just for crypto. I think just for business in general. It's a very business friendly environment. I believe the leaders are very strong. They're very smart. They realize they cannot rely on oil forever. There's better forms of energy, nuclear, clean nuclear energy coming, etc. So they invest very heavily to grow the economy. And with that, UAE is also pro crypto, and the legislations here are quite reasonable. So and yeah, so generally it's just a nice place to be. There are other places as well, like Bahrain is really really good as well, and then other regions in other parts of the continent. The Middle East also have a huge advantage in terms of low taxes for businesses and for individuals. So in the UAE, if you are in one of the free zones, there's no corporate tax, and then anywhere you are, there's no personal income tax, there's no capital gain tax. So everything's basically very easy. So yeah, there's many small advantages, and many people have a misconception about Middle East. They think they're kind of they're always portrayed as being a little bit strange, or people fear the unknown. But for the guys who've been to Dubai, for the guys who've been to Abu Dhabi or Bahrain, it's very safe. Dubai is one of the top 5 safest cities in the world. So it's very clean, it's very advanced. So it's just a very nice place to be.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Bruce, again for the question. So moving on to someone that we all know and love, Spidey, please go ahead. Spidey, you there? If not, then we'll come back. We can go to... Oh,
Yes.
sorry, Spidey, go ahead.
Hi, CZ. How are you?
I'm okay. Oops,
Just a suggestion. I had heard the last AMA with Mayur, and he suggested one of the things about Binance feed. So wherein, right now, if we could, I have a suggestion. If we could target children between the ages 15 and above, only to use Binance feed as a social media. They can't trade. They can't do anything else. So they can share their journey, what they are doing, because I know personally a lot of kids who are doing learning blockchain and doing amazing stuff on blockchain. So just a suggestion, if only Binance feed, the social media section of Binance, can be opened up for the children between, let's say, 14 to 18.
Yeah, I think we should. I think that suggestion we agree with completely. So I think kids older than 12 should be exposed to education. So Binance Academy, Binance Feed. And it's actually very important to educate kids about finance, about new technologies, etc. So I think that part is the idea we agree with. And only people above 18 should be able to trade. So the kids should be able to register. I've relayed this to the team. I'll relate it to you again, but the implementation may take a bit longer. I actually don't even know if kids are able to pass through proper KYC in many different countries. I don't know what type of IDs they have. They most likely will not have driver licenses, etc. So I think anything in the implementation, there's quite a lot of details that needs to be considered. So it's just a matter of implementation. I think conceptually we agree with the idea. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah. So thanks, Spidey. And also for people who don't know, Spidey is is actually himself in the educational sector. He's like he runs a school in India, and he's helping to push Binance, BNB, education, etc. very heavily. So that's always good to see.
Yeah, thanks, Fadi, for the question, and thanks for being bullish on Binance Feed. Again, for everyone listening, if you do want to ask a question to CZ, just raise your hand, and we'll try and get to you, as many of you as possible. So next up, we've got Mike.
Yeah, hey CZ, and thanks for doing this. I've got a couple of questions. Firstly, what country or region in the world would you be most bullish on untapped potential with crypto? And then second question would be, are you confident in being able to deliver Binance cards to any of the Asia Pacific regions, and more specifically Australia and New Zealand this year?
Okay, thanks for that question. Actually, just speaking of New Zealand, Australia, we have license or registrations in both places. So, and I believe in also in Australia, we actually have the derivatives registration, meaning that we can and we are licensed to offer derivatives products. So those two places are quite good right now, and the rest of the countries are a little bit harder to say, to be very frank. Southeast Asia, specifically, there are a number of different countries adopting different strategies right now, and no country's crypto regulatory framework is set in stone. They're all evolving. They're all at early stages. Today, most of the registration or licenses look at KYC and ML. But in the last year, we saw there are other issues, stable coins, proof of reserves, user assets, etc. So I think more regulations will come out in those areas. And again, different countries will adopt slightly different, will adopt the stances on different spectrums. On the different points of the spectrum. Some will be very strict, some will be less strict. It's very hard to say. So I think today I wouldn't say there's a single one country that's the best in the world and guaranteed forever. Today I would say, look, the Middle East, some parts of Europe are fairly progressive on crypto. The rest of the world, and even those places, the policies may change over time. So it's never guaranteed. So I think, but the good thing is we also seen other places where they previously had relatively overly restrictive regulations loosen up. Korea, Japan, they previously all had fairly restrictive policies, and we're seeing loosening of those things in the recent times. So yeah, things change. It's a pretty dynamic environment.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Mike. So yeah, moving on, C7 AVG. Do you want to go ahead?
Hi there, guys. Just a quick question, probably geared more towards the NFT side. We've obviously seen the implementation of Binance NFT in a big way the last few months, but what is your personal view, CZ, on these regulatory environments that we keep getting back to, and as NFTs are regulated in their own asset class? How do you see Binance NFT sort of changing to that? And is there any, I know it's been probably hashed a lot, but is there any environments currently in the world where you see the regulatory environments for NFTs gearing up in a positive way that you'd look to sort of maybe incorporate Binance NFT in one particular region, for argument's sake?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good question. Again, I'm not an expert on the regulatory framework or in every part of the world, but I do get some exposure to that recently. So again, most places, as far as I know, don't have specific regulations for NFTs yet. And especially in Europe, the MiCA proposal specifically carved out NFTs, saying that NFTs is not part of the regulatory framework. So they'll basically visit that topic in the future. So that's on MiCA, which should kick in a year or two for all of Europe. And the other parts of the world, very few countries that I know of have regulations for NFTs yet. So that's kind of the state of things that is today. On top of my head, I don't know of any single country that has one. So, but I could my knowledge is not that complete. So we just have to wait and see. And as to the Binance NFT platform, Binance adopted a more centralized. Binance.com adopted a more of a centralized NFT platform, which is different from OpenSea and other players. So we'll just see how it goes. I think we just got to have as many. We just got to provide as many choices to the users as possible. So it would, it's just slightly different offering, and then let's see how it goes.
Great. Thanks, C7, for the question. So next up, hopefully, is Barrett. He's tried to speak a few times, but has had network issues. So hopefully he can go ahead.
Hey CZ,
Hello.
good day.
Nice bird chirping.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Go ahead. Please ask your question.
What's your opinion on CBDCs?
I think I answered this one before, but I'll repeat it. CBDCs have pros and cons, and also there's like 200 different countries in the world, and they may each adopt different type of policies or features for their CBDCs. So it's not a one thing fits all thing. But I do expect most of the first versions of CBDCs that we're seeing are going to be issued by the central bank, obviously, and central banks. And then they have an advantage of they are authoritative, meaning that they are the legal tender as soon as they're issued. Most money today is already digital. So then having a CBDC will allow more industry players, financial service providers, or even e-commerce, just apps to integrate it more easily. Integrating with a bank for payment of your app is not so easy. So the adoption and the education is there. They will have a few differences compared to native cryptocurrencies. Most CBDCs will be unlimited supply, meaning most central banks would want to reserve the right to mint more of it at will. So with a push of a button, you could double, you can triple, etc. In terms of supply, which basically hurts the value of the existing circulation coins. And if you want to transfer cross borders using CBDCs, they may be permissions that you need to apply for. For example, if you want to move more than $50,000 out of China, you need to apply for special permissions, and that typically is a pretty involved process and quite difficult. So whereas native cryptocurrencies don't have the concept of borders, so they're more adapt to cross-border transactions, etc. So there's pros and cons. We'll just have to see on each one. Today, most of the CBDCs we can't even integrate. So as a crypto exchange, we can't integrate directly with those blockchains. Whereas if it's a native open blockchain, then there's no one preventing us. No one can prevent us to integrate with Bitcoin network, a Bitcoin blockchain. So there are some differences. So we just have to see.
Thanks, Barrett. And I'm glad you could finally get the chance to ask your question. So then moving on, we'll go to Carter.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing good. I have two questions, actually. I'm going to start with Binance Recovery Fund. It's been 2 months since you have announced the Binance Recovery Fund. When do you think you will be announcing the participants and the fund itself? Also, are you planning about doing launch pads more often?
So I guess you're talking about the Binance industry recovery, not the Binance, the industry recovery initiative. We call it an initiative. It's not a fund. So it doesn't have the traditional fund structure where everybody have to do the capital call, move the money in, etc. It's just a initiative where we allocated $1 billion onto a publicly viewable address, and we're deploying that capital as we speak, and other people participate. There's a dozen other projects with available cash they can deploy, and they participated. And for each time we want to try to save a project or invest in a project or buy some equity, etc., we share the deals, but there's no obligation for other people to participate in each deal or not. So it's a very loose initiative. But there is a group of players that are working together to look at different deals and to work together to try to save some of the strong players who may just be in a cash crunch. So that is actually already going quite well. We have done 4 or 5 different deals over the last month or so, and we're looking at a few more deals. Well, we're always looking at a lot more deals, but there's a few deals that are very close to closing as well. So it is going, even though we don't publicize it as much, especially with the deals. We only publicize certain deals after they close. We don't publicize deals that are ongoing. We try to minimize the noise, and we try to observe, normal business practices where we don't disclose the deal before everything's fully confirmed, money's transferred, shares transferred, etc. So yeah, but it is going. There's a lot of activity. There is a lot of activity that's happening though.
Cool. Well, thanks, Ekata, for the question. So next up is Shaka or Shaker.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, CG. I hats up to you and your team for keeping up with all of the FUD and doing a great job. And I appreciate the opportunity. And my question to you is, I'm based out of actually United States, and I'm building a decentralized platform. And is there any suggestions actually would I able to actually hear from you since I'm actually building the decentralized platform out of the United States?
Again, I'm not an expert, especially on United States, but I do know that I have learned over the last recent few weeks, months, or couple of years that U.S. has a number of very strict financial regulations. So I don't think I know the full extent of it. Even today, we rely on experts and lawyers, etc. But I think it is quite it is quite comprehensive. So there is quite. I don't know what your platform is. So depending, but generally, if it touches crypto transfers, etc., there's probably a lot of regulations in the U.S. that you need to comply with. Again, I'm not an expert on that. Please do get an expert opinion. That's as much as I could say, really.
Thank you.
Well, anyway, good morning, Shaka. Thanks for the question. So then next up would be Kareem.
Hey, CZ, thanks for having this space. Um, Welcome from Dubai first, and wanted to ask you. Over the past year, many countries have adopted very restrictive regulations on cryptocurrencies and the blockchain space. Meanwhile, in United Arab Emirates, the country has been adopting very friendly and attractive regulations and trying to build the ecosystem, a very strong ecosystem that attracts more of the developers and businesses and so on in that space. How do you think, or what is the role that you think United Arab Emirates can play in the near future to support the space, and how could this inspire other regulators worldwide?
Yeah, I think so. If you look at different cities, right, there are some cities that are just very well developed, like UAE, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, other cities in United Emirates. Um, uh, and if you look at the Singapore in Southeast Asia, there are other cities in different parts of the world. Why did those cities become more developed? Like if you just look at a downtown picture, right, and night view or day view picture, just look at the buildings. Why did some cities become more developed than others? It actually really comes down to better governance, better leadership, right? Business friendliness. If you don't welcome business, then the city is not going to develop, and then the citizens going to stay poor. So I think Dubai is a great example of business friendly environment that helped to build the city to be a mega city in the middle of a desert. So there's no natural advantage. There's no advantage really, other than strong leadership and better organization. So I think other countries, other places will look at that, and say, hey, look, we need to adopt business friendly environments. We need to adopt pro crypto regulations, etc. I think crypto is going to help Dubai significantly. It should already be helping Dubai to some extent. I think a year ago, when I visited Dubai, there was a dozen crypto companies in Dubai. Today, there's probably 400 or 500 crypto companies in Dubai now. And a year ago in March, we organized a conference, and we were the only ones organizing a crypto conference in Dubai. We got 5,000 people there. Today, there's like a crypto conference every other day. And so it's a very lively environment. I think other places should look at that and just try to emulate it. Whether they do or not is really up to them. But I think there's very real economic benefits for doing that.
Well, thanks, Kareem, for the question. It's a good one. So then moving on to Genius Crypto.
Hello, Binance, CG. Hope you are good. My question is for now time lot of food are fake news. It's the attack on Binance. CG, if possible, can stop it.
No, I don't think it's possible to stop it. I really wish it was possible. But FUD happened for a number of reasons, right? There's many different groups of people who may generate fake news, gossip, rumors, etc. There are people who are traders. When they bought into a position, let's say they short a position or they just exit a position, they may want the price to go down so that they can buy at a lower price. Or if they have a short position, then they can close the position at a lower price and make money. Those traders will try to generate negative news when they're in that kind of position. When they're long, they want to generate positive news. So they want the price to go up. So those are the traders, they swing sometimes, depending on which position they're in. And then crypto is a new industry. There are many skeptical views about crypto. The guys like Peter Schiff and whoever else. And they don't get it, they don't understand it, and then they're skeptical about it, which is fine. And then there are people who feel threatened by this new disruptive technology, so they will do that too. And then there are so all of those reasons are actually fine, to be honest. And then there are less valid reasons. FTX gave $43 million to a small news outlet in crypto, and they write a lot of FUD about Binance, and they still do, even after this after this whole arrangement became public. So there are all those things. But I think, look. Last year before that we actually pay attention to it, but this year we just said, look, let's ignore all of that and let's just focus on our own thing. Let's build products people use, and that's all we do. So I don't think it's going to stop, but I don't think it's going to bother us that much going forward. And to be very frank, there's a lot of positive stuff about it. You cannot say something negative about somebody without mentioning their name. So if you're spreading FUD or rumors about somebody and you want to say something bad about somebody, you have to mention their name. Otherwise, people don't know what are you talking about. So you constantly have to mention their name. So other people who are spreading bad news about us always have to mention our name. Actually, just spreads more awareness of us, which actually helps with awareness. And then people come to their own judgments. And people are pretty smart today. Most people can judge, if it's a FUD or not. Most people are no longer fooled by clickbait titles. So so I think this year we're gonna ignore most of that and just continue to build our products.
Thanks again, Genius Crypto, for the question. So, CZ, we've got two people left on stage, so it should fit in nicely around the half an hour mark. So we'll just go ahead with those. So the next one is Alsa.
Hey, thank you. Hi, CZ. Hopefully you're doing well. My question is, as a machine learning developer, are we going to see any from Binance development projects on machine learning to be combined with the blockchain to provide good user cases for the users in future? I'm interested of Binance network.
I think there's a lot of use cases for artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. Today, we use, there's the blockchain side, which you asked about. And on the Binance.com side, today, there's two places we use it very heavily. One is customer support. Obviously, most of the customer support questions are repetitive. They're like, how do I deposit? How do I do KYC? Stuff like that. So using machine learning is quite good for that. And today, I think about 75% of our customer support requests can be handled by the AI successfully on the first on the first contact. So that's 75% workload reduced, and then we have then the rest of 25 goes to a human agent, and then we have more time to service those guys. The other place we do is risk management. Transaction monitoring, risk, fraud detection, market manipulation detections, etc. In those areas, again, we use big data, we use machine learning to try to detect those things. But there are many other areas that we could use this AI machine learning technologies. So I think this technology has very far-reaching implications or applications to use. So I won't be able to list all of them. On the blockchain side, there's blockchains are public data, public ledgers, and they contain quite a lot of data. So there's many different use cases to use machine learning to analyze those. Including fraud detection, including trading strategies, many other applications potentially. But so the list goes on. With machine learning becoming more and more mature and more stronger, there will be more and more applications.
Very interesting. Thanks, Elsa, for raising that. So yeah, we'll go on to the crypto file for the last question.
Hey, CZ, how you doing?
Pretty good.
So I was just wondering, what do you think about no-code solutions for deploying smart contracts on Binance, like DevBox, for example? And if you support any no-code uses as well, other than for deploying smart contracts, other than just coders, say, using Remix to deploy smart contracts.
Like now is the first time I heard about this term no-code deployment, so I gotta look it up.
Yeah, so, like DevBox is one. DevBox is one I was looking at.
Okay, so honestly, this is the first time I'm hearing about it. I don't really know, so I gotta learn and find out. So yeah, I don't have.
Yeah, I'm looking at DevBox. They offer like no-code solutions. So I just wanted to know if you had any opinions on that or heard that before. Yeah, I think it was DevBox ETH. They're currently on ETH, but I think they're merging to BSC. So
okay,
yeah,
I'll take a look. I guess this is a good last question where I gotta learn something afterwards.
Yeah, thanks. That doesn't happen very often, so that's great. Yeah, CZ.
It happens very often.
Well, I haven't heard it on Space before, but that's great. So CZ, just before we end, is there anything else you want to raise around what people should know, what's going on with Binance at the moment?
Not much. I mean, look, this is a fairly frequent AMA. I'll try to do it every couple of weeks or so. We'll keep it short so that we'll have higher frequency. Just random questions, and then we just try to answer them. I think, look, a major part of the world is on vacation for Chinese New Year. So the market is a little bit slow, but it's relatively positive over the last few days. So hopefully we leave 2022 behind, and 2023 hopefully should be a better year. But in Binance, we actually ignore markets. We just build products continuously, and we have survived 2022, and I think 2023 should be a better year. Just hope everyone survived 2022 relatively intact, and then looking for a better year. And happy Chinese New Year.
Awesome. Well, thanks, CZ, for your time. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. As always, look forward to seeing you at the next one, and hopefully we'll get to some of your questions. And if you haven't already, please go and check out some of the awesome end-of-year reports that our research and content team released recently. Should be some great news and insights in there if you haven't seen them. So, yeah, thanks again. Speak soon.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye.